Well, no carbon dioxide, no beer? That's a reality that some local craft breweries are facing, as a CO2 shortage, a vital ingredient in beer, would be bad for business. News 12's Josiah Darnell visits a local brewery to find out how this could leave your beer and their business flat.
There's trouble brewing in the brewing industry. Breweries large and small are feeling the effects of the CO2 shortage. Carbon dioxide isn't just responsible for the bubbles people see in their beers. It's used for cleaning, moving beer between tanks or kegs, and gives the carbonation needed when beer comes out of the tap. Christopher Gansey, the owner of Daleview Biscuits and Beer, says without CO2, it's hard to make beer.
Without that CO2, it's not much you can do with beer production or beer serving, because part of beer is people want carbonation inside their beer. And if you don't have that CO2, you can't carb the beer, you can't move the beer. There's so many layers to it.
Gansey says it's possible CO2 suppliers are low on carbon dioxide, and with it in high demand, prices have gone up. He says he's seen a 15 to 20% increase on his current CO2 bill. He also adds that his brewery, or any that he knows of in New York City, hasn't been affected supply-wise. But he knows a few breweries in upstate New York that were informed their supplier would no longer be shipping CO2 to them, and now have to find different options.
A lot of people upstate are scrambling to find alternatives for CO2.
Gansey tells me that if the CO2 supplier was to stop shipping, he has alternative options when it comes to production, but it would still be hard to serve beer.
So we naturally carbonate our beers in our kegs, in our cans, so we don't need CO2 for that portion, but it would hinder us when it comes to serving beer.
Not enough CO2 will cause beer to be flat, and if the price for carbon dioxide goes up, so will the price of beer, and beer providers are hoping the problem gets resolved soon. In Prospect Lefferts Gardens, Josiah Darnell, News 12.